Configurations. Expense-specific settings can be found in the Setup section of the Travel and Expense Management module. We will be taking a look at the following settings in this section. We will learn how to set up expense categories as like shared categories and expense categories. We'll see how we can set up the display fields and also take a look at how we can set up credit card transactions. Navigating to the Rich Client. Here, to create an expense category, we have to first create a shared category. A shared expense category can be used across all the legal entities in your organization. For example, if you create a shared expense category for flights, the flight category name and description will be used by all of your legal entities. So let's create one shared category. By clicking on Shared Categories, you click New on the action strip, create an ID. Let's name it as Flights 2 or like Flight 2, and the category name as Flights. We can use this in project and in expense. So we're going to share this expense category. And then the expense type can be airline. We see that subcategories come on the display, and we can select the subcategories that we want to associate with this category. Once you hit close, you can actually go to your expense categories. And now we see that if we click on New, in the category IDs, we will see the expense category, the shared expense category that we had created earlier. If you click on this, you can select a category group, which is going to be travel in this case, and then associate an account to it, to this category. You can select a default payment method, which can be a company credit card. And then once you hit close, you will see that you have actually created an expense category. Now I can see that this expense category has been created for this legal entity. Now let's take a look at how we can configure our display fields. Once you go into the setup, under the travel and expense entry, you'll see that there is a section for display fields. Once you hit on this, you'll see that we have the header fields and the transaction fields. Display settings. Use the display fields form to specify which fields should be visible on the enterprise portal. This allows you to customize the fields shown on the enterprise portal without needing to access the development environment. These changes will affect all workers entering expense reports. This is global setting, and any changes to this table will be applied to all companies running the application. All available fields on the expense report header are listed on the Header Fields tab. All fields in the expandable section on the expense report lines are listed on the transaction fields. The visibility options are Display, Do Not Display, and Read Only. To specify display fields, follow these steps. Suppose if you look at this label, the description, and if I want to change the visibility for this, I can actually make it a display instead of a Do Not Display. We can also see that on transaction fields, if we want to display all fields, we can go on the right and select this tab, Display All Fields, and display all the fields. The same way, we can also hide all the fields if you want to. Just by changing the settings, you're going to see that the visibility changes on this pane and in the table itself. This is how you can actually set up the display on the various labels. Last but not the least, we're going to take a look how your credit card transactions can be imported from the bank's statements. For that, you would have to set up three things. To enable credit card importing, we have to follow the three steps. The first thing is register the TRV PBS main data service in AOT. If you press Ctrl, Shift, and W, you will see that you actually enter the development workspace. Here, under AOT, navigate to Services. Select the service TRV PBS main data service. When you right-click on this, you'll find that you have an add-in button. If you click on this one, it prompts you to register the service. Hit on Register Service. And here you see you have registered the service. Once this screen pops up, please hit the Close button. The second step is to create an inbound port for the AX client. Navigating to the client, here we see that under the System Administration, If you go to the setup, under the Service and Application Integration Framework, you have inbound ports. To create a new inbound port, you can click on this. Once you hit New, you can select the port name. Let's select it as Visa. You can add a description. For the adapter, select NetTCP. In the Service Contract Customizations, click on Service Operations. Here, you have to figure out the service called TRVPBS main data service.create and move it to the left-hand side. We're going to select this and hit this arrow to get it back onto the left-hand side. Once we hit close here, we will see that this activate but tab on the action strip gets activated. We can click on activate and activate this port. This might take a few seconds to refresh and actually show an info log which says that this inbound port has been created. As we are seeing that the AX environment is actually processing this activate, we see this information log, and at the end of it, it says that the port visa was deployed successfully. We can close this, and the last step is to actually map a credit card to a worker. For that, you would have to navigate to the Human Resources module. Under here, under Workers, you have to select the worker that you actually want to map your credit card to. So our worker is Yuichiro in this case, and we will be locating Yuichiro in this list. Once we have located this employee, we are going to click on Expense Management tab on the action strip. Here we see that we have a tab called Credit Card. Once you click on this one, all you need to do is enter the last 4 digits of the credit card of this employee along with the payment method and the card type. Since our port was for Visa, we have changed the card type as Visa. And you're all set up to import your credit card transactions.